What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
And we have got a seemingly new-ish leak about Godzilla X Kong Supernova, which I'm still not entirely sold on that name. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this leak actually gives us a hint, or not really a hint. It kind of blatantly reveals who the villain, the next big bad is of the Monsterverse. And I think it can be really, really cool. Miguel is more the Godzilla expert here, so he's going to give us some insight. But we know that Godzilla X Kong Supernova is set to drop in 2027. Now, there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of talk into the conversation of, like, where should it go? I know for me, I think kind of even before we get to this leak, for me, what I would personally like to see, and it's not that I didn't enjoy Godzilla X Kong The New Empire. It's not that I didn't enjoy Godzilla versus Kong. I think, personally for me, I hope that they go back to the style of storytelling that we saw in Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think if we can return at least somewhat to a little bit of a darker storytelling style, give me more of the story from the human's perspective. It seems like we've really shifted here. And who knows? Miguel and I have talked about this. Maybe this is because of Kong being in the mix. And Kong is able to show emotions a little bit more, and you can kind of empathize with King Kong a little bit more. But it feels like we've almost shifted. Like, things are almost partially from the perspective of the Titans. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it's pretty. It's not too
just
far-fetched.
Personally, I hope they return to a little bit more of a darker storytelling style. Like I said, something like we saw, when we saw Bryan Cranston's character, when we were involved with the human characters in Godzilla 2014, it felt like, holy shit, like there are stakes here. There are actual stakes in this, in what's happening for humanity. And I feel like we've lost that a little bit. I do. I think we've gone a little too fantasy land. It's the never ending story with Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth thing was cool. Let's move on. I'm a little over the Hollow Earth storyline. I'm not gonna lie. It's like it wouldn't bother me as much as if, like, every single time in any point in this movie, any kind of, like, questioning something in the story happens, it's like Hollow Earth. But it is, we got to go to Hollow Earth. That's how we're gonna fix it. Oh, this huge war that happened decades ago, millenniums ago. It's Hollow Earth. That's what it was. It's like, what the, like, okay. It's bizarre. So tell me, before we get to the villain, Miguel, where are you on the whole tone of the Monsterverse thing right now?
Well, I'm not too. I wouldn't say that I'm having Hollow Earth fatigue as you are. Um, I know that. I know that when it came out in 2014, am I correct? The tone was definitely in a more darker-esque atmosphere, because I think one of the biggest gripes that I think people had in the original 2014 installment was the fact that you could hardly see Godzilla. It was like all like
That's fair.
dark and gloomy and stuff like that. Like, heaven forbid you couldn't see the monster. But that was like the point that Gareth Edwards was trying to do, if that was the director at the time. So
I believe so.
I think that Godzilla has just continually gone through different types of shift throughout the installments of the MonsterVerse, which is very very true for all the other eras that Godzilla went through since 1954. So, like, if you want to talk about tonal shifts, so in regards to, like, the MonsterVerse, I mean, it's gone through its peaks and valleys, I guess, but I wouldn't say like it's had many lows. Almost every installment they've had so far was actually pretty rock solid, even including New Empire.
They've been great. I just, and I know it's possible because Monarch still has that kind of dark, glooming, brooding, atmosphere, but they're able to still show Godzilla in all of his glory, I don't know. I think there's a meshing of both worlds that we could see, and I've seen people kind of argue against what I'm saying because, just like you said a second ago, there are so many distinct eras within the Godzilla lore, that it's just kind of like you can kind of justify the buddy cop thing versus in the New Empire with, contradict that with what we saw in King of the Monsters, where it felt like this huge world-ending event where the stakes are super high and humanity is doomed and all this. So this leak, I first saw this about a month ago. And I feel like now, we were just talking about this before we started recording. This is kind of starting to gain traction. I'm seeing more and more people talk about it. I'm seeing more and more fan concept art thrown out there, and we'll kind of talk about the potential design and show some of that off. So this was posted. I originally saw this on Reddit, which of course you can't trust everything that you see on Reddit, but I've seen it in enough places, including the Godzilla Movies website, that it's maybe, I feel like it's got some traction. So this was posted to the WGA, the Writers Guild of America website. Zeus, which we're assuming is the code name, the production title for Godzilla X Kong Supernova. We see Zeus, WGA covered. The feature credits, screenplay by David Callahan, Michael Lloyd Green, and David Callahan. The story by David Callahan. Source material. This is where it gets interesting. Based on the characters Godzilla and SpaceGodzilla, owned and created by Toho Company. Final credits 11/12/2025. So this would have been kind of finalized with the trademarks and everything in November. And then, of course, below we see the feature attributes. It's distributed, through screen, it's live action, it's science fiction, all those things. So we know that these things happen right behind the scenes. We know that, when you're dealing with characters, creatures, whatever, these fictional characters as big as Godzilla, as big as some of these these titans that that would be owned by Toho and by different companies, they have to go through this. They have to go through all the proper channels, right? So it's very plausible that this would be a legitimate entry to the Writers Guild of America. I don't know. I'm okay with SpaceGodzilla. I think that's cool. Like I said, you're the bigger Godzilla guy. So what are your immediate thoughts on the possibility of SpaceGodzilla being the next big bad in the Monsterverse?
Well, the calling card that they have right there, Zeus, was pretty spot on. Right. Yeah, considering lightning and stuff like that. But let me, for those of you that don't know, SpaceGodzilla, I think, came out in 95, 94, depending on which region of the world you're in. And he was a one-off character back in the High Sea era. So SpaceGodzilla was basically what's it called? What is it? A product of
I don't know.
It was a product of the G-Cell storyline that was happening during the High Sea era. Like, Godzilla cells were like the thing at the time. Like, it was like his
big old
body,
the
big plot point in the majority of those movies were like his body can regenerate. It has very powerful healing factors. So at some point during the film, throughout that era, Godzilla's G cells, or for lack of a better term, went up to space and went through a wormhole, went through a black hole, and came out of a white hole, and bing bang boom, something blew up, and now you have SpaceGodzilla. So I don't know. That was a pretty crude way to explain how Godzilla came about, but
that was the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, that was the Cliff Notes version. The idea of SpaceGodzilla being in the next installment, I mean, that's exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. I mean, SpaceGodzilla is definitely one of those monsters that I was hoping to see. Maybe a little bit too soon, if I were to make any criticism, but still, nonetheless, I mean, at this point, I still feel a little bit more confident about what they're trying to do in regards to this project. Now, I would say for many people, SpaceGodzilla probably is still in the back of your head. Like, if you know Godzilla, you probably have heard of SpaceGodzilla. So yeah. I don't know if that's something you heard of, or was our conversation the other day your crash course into him?
Yeah, I had heard of the character. I had seen the character. I didn't know the whole G cell backstory. Them sending the cells into space and it kind of becoming him, and then him coming to Earth to destroy Godzilla. Like I didn't know the fine details of it, but I knew the character, and I knew of him, and I knew roughly what he looked like with the what do you call it? The spike things,
The crystals
the
on his
crystals and
shoulders, yeah.
things like that. You know,
Which I'll say he's like design. Like when he first
it's cool.
came
He looks
out,
cool. He does
he
look really
was
cool.
100% the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen. I think he was. I think Godzilla versus Space Godzilla was number like 2 or 3
Yeah.
of the film that I seen whenever I started like really like getting into Godzilla at the time of when I was a kid.
A wee
I
lad.
start a wee lad, yeah. I was like, mate, I think I started in the high C era, so like that era holds a special heart to me because I saw the whole shindig.
Hell, maybe you'll love this movie then, if it's a
Yeah, I
non-High Sierra.
mean, we'll find out.
Tell me, is this again? Forgive me for not knowing the eras and their tone. Was the High Sierra a goofier style, as we saw with the New Empire? This buddy cop kind of like team up, jumping on each other's shoulders, fighting each other, getting ripped apart by Mothra. Like, is it that kind of thing, or is this? Could you see this being a darker storyline given the fact that he would be the villain?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Now I know people have had some criticism again about Godzilla versus Kong, not necessarily versus Kong, but like New Empire being way too, I guess, cartoony or, for lack of a better term, just too much, less weight on these characters.
Goofier.
Which, yeah, which I can kind of see where people are coming from. Yeah, like as someone that's as much of a Godzilla fan as I am, and people who are obviously watching and tuning in and has spent a good majority of their time watching it, they kind of understand like which era gives different types of tone. So from like 62 to like I don't know somewhere near the 80s, I mean it was very much a a funny like silly, quirky, like literally men in suits, playing as giant monsters, and like
Yeah, yeah.
it was very much your typical like Japanese monster flick. Kind of like how do I put this in perspective for like more modern viewers? I think if you think of like the old Star Trek and how they used to fight, that's kind of like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
similar.
yeah.
Like it's very very slow, very loose, but it was
Adam
still
West Batman versus like Chris Nolan, like that, you know.
yeah ish. But the stories were still there, and the stakes were still there. You could still definitely tell, and the characters were just as memorable as I can, especially during certain installments like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Terror, and others. But when it came to Godzilla and Kong, New Empire, I kind of got a little bit of a Showa era vibes from them, and I was all for it, like honestly. And I enjoyed seeing Godzilla as energetic as he was, because I know a lot of people were really like, really like confused with why he was acting that way. Which I mean, we can get into that too. I mean, there's the story's there for why he's acting that way, but just for seeing him and how he's acting and interacting with Kong and interacting with all the other apes, including Scar King. So the interactions we got with Godzilla and how he acts is very reminiscent of the Showa era, and I thought that was really sweet. But with this new film with Godzilla Supernova and the addition to Space Godzilla, I would be remiss to think that you would have to shift that tone that we got with New Empire to a more grittier tone, more I guess not somber, but like more frightening tone. Because from what I remember when I saw Space Godzilla, he was a real threat. Like my man was like
Yeah.
peak on peak, bar for bar, just as strong and powerful, if not more, than Godzilla.
Right.
And the man was just straight on business. Like as soon as he was evaporated from, as soon as he blew up and became Space Godzilla, the man was Godzilla. Like I'm here
Yeah.
to kill Godzilla and be king of Earth, basically. So the man stands on business. He is there to really rid the world of Godzilla and anything that can,
Eradicate Godzilla.
yeah,
Like,
and basically be like king of Earth. And like so as I was saying about like, do I think that was probably a little premature for Space Godzilla? Maybe. I mean, like Space Godzilla needed like 2 or 3 movies to like set him up. Well, then again, like I mean, like 30 seconds in the film and boom, he's there. So, but the reason for why he came had was the product of 2 installments before.
yeah.
So,
But see, that's what I'm saying, and that's where it scares me a little bit. Is it's almost like, it felt like at the end of King of the Monsters when Ghidorah's head was there, which I guess we did get a little bit of payoff with that with Mechagodzilla because they used his
mhm,
DNA or whatever. But like, it feels so. It really feels like there's a lack of a human storyline because we've had to replace. It's like we've replaced that with the whole Hollow Earth. Like, there's another civilization living down inside of the Earth, and it's just like, what? Like no, 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 no. Like, I don't want it. I don't need that stuff. Like, give me how the Titans are affecting everyday people in like on planet Earth. Give me
mhm,
more of that. I feel like
yeah,
that is what will make him Space Godzilla more formidable. Like, I'm reminded of Bryan Cranston saying, this is going to send us back to the Stone Age in Godzilla 2014. Like,
mhm,
you think about the nature of what this is. Scar King, yes, he was a threat. Whatever. Ghidorah could have very well been a world-ending event. Space Godzilla. I mean, take the power of Godzilla, maybe greater power than Godzilla, and you take that with someone who's trying to destroy the planet instead of balance it or save it, however you want to look at Godzilla's purpose, and like that could become really dangerous really quickly for practically all life on Earth. So
mhm.
I
Well,
feel
let
like
me.
the character could very well lend itself towards a darker, grittier story within the
Mhm,
MonsterVerse. But I hope, I hope that the movie takes time to set that up. Like you just said a second ago, I don't want to be 30 seconds into the movie and then it's like, oh, Space Godzilla's coming, here we go, without any kind of setup for that character. I feel like there's
mhm.
got to be a little bit of a payoff for, with Scar King. I was actually really looking forward to Scar King because I was like, damn, it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna have another ape as a villain.
Yes,
And
yes, because Brad was a Kong. Brad
I
was
am
Team Kong when
I
that came
am
out.
Team
Yeah.
Kong. I'm a King Kong lover. I actually have a Kong poster right up here. You can't see it, but anyways, I I was a little underwhelmed with Scar King. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that he would be a little bit more formidable. I actually watched uh, the New Empire the other day, and like that last fight scene. I was hoping that he would at least be able to take Godzilla for part of the time. Obviously, I didn't
Mhm.
think he was going to overthrow Godzilla or anything. But I was hoping that he would be a little bit more formidable. Really, without Shimo, he was kind of worthless. Like, he wasn't even
And that
really
was
that great of a fighter. Like, I was hoping for a
and
little bit more, like, damn, he can really hold his own with Godzilla. Like, this is a really
mhm.
formidable, like, evil villain. And literally, he landed in that last fight scene. I kid you not, because I rewound it and watched it again. Bro landed one punch on Godzilla and then spent the rest of that fight scene running away from Godzilla. I was just hoping for a little bit more with him.
Yeah.
So all of that to say, hopefully, Space Godzilla. I don't think Space Godzilla will be running away from Godzilla in this movie. I don't think it'll
No.
be a hit
Yeah.
and run scenario, but so that's my hope for the overall tone of the movie, of the villain, of just everything happening. Now, the fact that this is the other question, and we haven't touched on this yet. how do we feel about Kong being in this mix? Like, is Kong going to be of help to him?
I
It
don't
is.
know, man.
It seems.
I
I
love how like
almost feel
we
like this
always
should have been a
tend,
third solo Godzilla film.
yeah, but like I love that we always tend to like underestimate Kong. And I'll be honest right now, like Warner Bros is 100% riding the coattails of Kong and how much money he
Oh
makes
yeah,
for everybody.
yeah,
So like this man has definitely survived feats that like he probably should not have,
probably
and
not.
like and like a typical monster flick. But I'm still cool with it. I mean, like Kong still has notoriety. I mean, he still is pulling in audience members. Like he still has fans, and he still is not pulling his punches when it comes to
Yeah,
uh monsters in here. And I'm not upset with
Kong's
that.
got that
Like,
brute strength.
yeah, like I am really not upset at that, because obviously when it comes to like Toho and Warner Bros. And the dichotomy that they have in the relationship with what they can share and who they can share in regards to rights,
Yeah,
Kong was easy because I mean obviously they own the rights. I guess somewhere here owns the rights to Kong. So like,
I want to say, I could be wrong. I'd have to do some digging on this. I believe Universal still owns the King Kong rights, which is why
yeah,
I believe Legendary and Toho literally have to just call him Kong because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
Okay,
necessarily King. It's weird. I don't fully understand. It's kind of I've the same situation as Sony and Disney sharing Spider-Man. I think that's
and
kind of the same type situation as what's going on with Kong. But
and before I get absolutely blasted on fucking social media in the comments, um, no, King like Kong, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm using like proper syntax, I guess, Kong is not inherently a Toho monster. Yes, he was in it in 1962, but I think I think that if I know the story correctly, um, studios here leased the license to Toho for the 1962 film. If
yeah.
that's backwards, then you can get at me.
Yeah,
But
I just
um,
looked it up. The rights to Kong. I do remember seeing this. We've talked about this on the show before. The rights to Kong are essentially a huge mess. So the original movie is so old; it's from the 30s. So
mm,
the original movie and the novel are public domain.
yeah,
But because of the 2005 Universal film with Jack Black and that whole crew, which is absolutely
it's still a good film.
an
Yeah.
incredible movie. Probably one of my favorite movies of all time. That Universal still owns the rights and the merchandising rights for that film.
Hmm.
And there's a King Kong ride still at Universal based on the 2005 film, so they partially own the rights. But also Toho has been reloaned the rights along with Warner Brothers and Legendary for the Monsterverse stuff. It's a lot. They're kind of pulling Kong in like 8 different directions right
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah.
with
They
rights
pop
and
potatoed with
merchandise
Kong.
and yeah.
So if I were to go back to my like original point with why I'm saying that, with when it comes to like Kong, it makes more sense why Kong is more involved in this Monsterverse, just because like we have the rights, they're easy to get, and he is still a heavy hitter in the box office. So it makes sense for Kong and Godzilla to be, a duo and these films. Now, are they doing it too much? I don't know. Like we're only 2 films in, and I know the what's it called, the Apple TV show Monarch is hinting on the latest trailer that I saw,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where it's like I'm not upset with like the two being a duo, because honestly it's kind of fun, because
It is fun.
like, yeah, from 1962 it was always like Godzilla versus Kong, like who's gonna win. We finally got that, and 2020, I think that was COVID. I doubt like Godzilla versus Kong was
I think it was
COVID.
2021. It
Okay,
was in that COVID lockdown
yeah,
era where
so we
the
got
early
that.
days of our channel.
Yeah, so we got that, and next it was obviously Godzilla and Kong New Empire. So like the relationship is definitely morphed into like a more of a coexisting, because the whole premise was Godzilla was like to put balance and pretty much Millie Rock any beast that might go toe to toe to him that's not going to bow to him after King of the Monsters. So
And Kong bows to no one.
so with that whole film going through that and hearing Skarsgård say that about 12 different times, um, it was it was I guess refreshing to see Godzilla and Kong be a duo in this, and I'm completely okay with it. So now, with it comes to Supernova, if we are gonna get Space Godzilla, like, are we gonna want to have Godzilla and Kong in every single one of these films fighting against a Toho monster? That seems kind of cheap. Like, I want to at least keep Kong with the same what's it called? That the hold the same weight as he should. Like, it's more exciting for me to like see Kong in a solo film doing something that Kong would normally do, and see Godzilla do something with doing something Godzilla would normally do.
As fun as it was, and as much as I love seeing the two of those characters together, as much as I hate to say this, the New Empire probably should have been a solo Kong film, and Supernova probably should have been a solo Godzilla film.
Yeah,
now,
maybe.
If you wanted to make the two of them like cameo in each other, that's fine. You know, that's totally fine. But it feels, especially for a villain like Space Godzilla, I think Kong may feel a little shoehorned in. And I say that as a Kong fan. Like, I am a King Kong guy. Now, they could maybe they completely prove us both wrong, and Kong fits like a glove,
and I'm sure they will,
into the story. You know, I also don't want, like, I want Kong to be able to stand on his own. Like, the glove, when his hand was broken and they put the glove on his head, like, okay, whatever. But, like, I don't want Kong to have to be, like, in an Iron Man suit to be able to fight. Like, that, like, I would rather him just not be there at that point, you know? So, anyways, like I said, this whole rumor, this whole leak, has kind of caught on over the course of the last month. And real quick, before we get out of here, I want to show, Miguel has not seen these. I want to show some different concept art from fans, and I want to get your thoughts on the potential design for what Space Godzilla could look like. Now, if you created one of these pieces of concept art, I couldn't track down the creators for everybody. So if you created one of these, drop your name in the comments so that we can credit you. So image number 1, that looks dope as hell. Personally, I think that's cool. What are your thoughts, Miguel?
I mean, yeah, it looks neat. You know,
he's very horny.
Oh my god,
very spiky. The crystals are very pretty. It's not just like the two big ones. It's there's a lot going on there. There's kind of a larger look at what that could look like.
Yeah, that looks pretty neat, honestly.
Dude's thighs are thick.
I mean, yeah, 2014 we were talking about how thick they were.
Yeah.
The key thing that I want to know is, can Space Godzilla fly? Because that is another design in and of itself.
He can fly?
Yeah, he can fly. I mean,
we can fly. What?
The dude came from space. You don't think he didn't just like jump off a certain area and just like landed? No, my man literally.
So he flew to Earth?
Yeah, he flew to Earth, and like he has a full.
I didn't understand that.
He has like a full like flight. Form, I guess, where he's just literally engulfed in diamonds, and he just fucking levitates himself down to Earth. It's a pretty neat design. If you want to look it up, the original Space Godzilla Designs, it's pretty neat. Actually, here, pull up the original Space Godzilla for us, and then see if you can find its like flight one, and that way you can have a better idea.
Something like that.
Yeah, that thing.
So that's how he flies.
Bro, yeah, that's how he flies. My man literally hovers with like mountains of fucking diamonds. I have no idea how. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. Like my
Isn't that
man.
the beauty of some of these older films? Is like we can do this and not explain a single bit of how it works.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
I think
know,
the ironic thing was like back then, like I knew what I was looking at. Like I
yeah,
knew what I was looking at. Like I knew that these were just men in suits. Okay, like I was not naive to not think that. So it was just funny to see the strings like connecting to Space Godzilla as he just like
yeah, yeah.
going through. It's just funny to like see it now. So, but it wasn't lost on me. So I
Yeah.
know like logistically dealing with men in suits acting as monsters must have been hard as shit. I just sent you a picture of I think it was 1975 Godzilla's head that's currently in a museum. It's like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
um
I saw that.
yeah, it's like
It's pretty cool.
sealed in a box. Dog, like imagine that on your head, like in like hot Japan on the summer. Like these people were going through hell. Like
Oh man,
I think
that would have been a lot. Yeah.
one of the Godzilla actors just recently died. Not, I think like last year or a year before that, like not too
Mm.
long ago. So like, man, I would give credit to those actors because they did
Yeah.
take on a lot to portray these monsters.
Yeah,
So
for sure. A couple more. So this is another artist rendering that I found on Google. That's pretty dope.
yeah, that's
I
pretty close
actually
to
I like that design. I
dog. That
think
looks AI as shit.
it is it
Yeah.
100%. But again, these are just artist renderings. These are not leaks or anything like that. I actually prefer that design to this one.
Hmm.
That may be a little controversial. This definitely has a little bit more of a realism look, but like that is cool as
Well,
shit.
that one is very that one stays much truer to the
To the
original
original.
design. So the previous one is obviously trying to stay true to the legendary version. So
Yeah.
a mix between the two would be absolutely dope.
This is
How do you say
so
so?
this last one I have. This is actually probably my personal favorite because it actually looks like a shot. It's kind of dark and shadowed, and it looks like a shot that we could actually see out of the movie. I think that's pretty cool looking.
That is pretty dope.
Like I
Now,
actually really like the look of that a lot. And if we
now
saw
understand.
a Space Godzilla that kind of ended up in that same format, I would be totally cool with that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Now understand that like whenever they're talking about characters based on source material. Now I'm would not be upset if we didn't get Space Godzilla in this film, but there are other there's another there's two other IPs in that film that I thought were that I think would be nice to have their time in the spotlight. One obviously being Little Godzilla, but story wise, I don't know how the fuck you're gonna do that right now.
Yeah,
There's literally
that seems
nothing.
like I feel like we're already stretching to justify Space Godzilla and then Kong being in it. Like I feel like that would be a little too much.
Yeah,
Plus,
and
there's the other wild card of like they like to shoehorn and throw in other characters. Like we saw, is it who did he fight in the water when he became pink when he
Tiamat,
evolved again?
I think
Tiamat, right?
Tiamat.
He fought Tiamat. Like there's other creatures that they like to throw in. I mean, shoot, look at how many creatures were in King of the Monsters. I mean, just a lot like creatures that don't even really have like a huge part of the story. They're just kind of there, you know.
Hmm.
So that's the other wild card of like we don't even know what
Yeah,
other
so like
creatures we could
it
see
could
in this, you know.
it could 100% be a completely different evil monster that may occur in this film. And what we could have actually is maybe like I don't know, maybe the if you want your human element, maybe instead
Mm.
of like a Mecha Godzilla, you might have Mogira coming in into
Mm.
the fold. Which, if you guys don't know, it's just another. It's a mech. You know, it's based off of. If you look it up, it's really simple to know what it's based off of, and it's basically based off of a mole like somewhere in East Asia, and its capabilities is obviously the capabilities to drill underground, and he has two giant uh, lasers on his hands, and then he has a drill on his nose, obviously resembling a mole, and he is a honest to god power pack of a mech. Probably one of my favorite mechs in the the Godzilla franchise. So I don't know. Maybe if you want human elements, maybe Mogera gets a installment. If we want to start building up, you know, Team Earth or Guardians of the Earth, and so you would have Kong, you have Godzilla, you would have Mogera, which is like a mech from like either the United States or Monarch or Asia or wherever. Like, who cares? Like, that would be cool to have Mogera.
I've mentioned that to you before. Like I wonder if they have, and for lack of a better word, this is going to sound really stupid and cheesy. For lack of a better word, I wonder if they have an end game in mind. You know what I mean? Like if they've got are we building like a kind of a Guardians of the Earth type deal with Godzilla and Kong and Mothra and this whole thing to maybe a Destroya Final Wars type thing? Like, I don't know. Like I wonder if Legendary has an end goal here, or if they're just like, let's just keep making monster movies because people are buying tickets to go see Godzilla and Kong. Like, go fuck people up.
Hey, you know what? I don't.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't care. You know, I wouldn't care to have a final
to end
monster battle or whatever.
Yeah.
Now there are stories that can end with a bow tie, but I mean, fuck, dude, I can't even tell you how many times Godzilla has died,
and then been
and then just came back the next time. Like, that was the whole point of why Godzilla is so awesome.
Yeah.
But I would not be
technically exposed. Died in the Monsterverse, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's died once or twice. Yeah. So or just he just got tired. I don't fucking know.
Well, Sarazawa had to go drop the nuke in the underwater cave thing, right?
Yeah, he was just tired, dude.
Yeah. He was sleeping. But, bro needed a nap. Yeah, that was shit. That was half of Godzilla's plot in the New Empire. Is he just wanted to nap and no one would let him?
Yeah,
that was basically all he wanted to do. Was take a nap. So.
But with the Guardian faction things, like, it's not like they're building something up to have an end game. I think they just want to build the franchise, which is cool
totally, too. That's fine too.
Totally cool with me because, I don't know if you guys remember playing all the video games of Godzilla. I mean, there were factions. Like, there was the Guardians of Earth, which was like Godzilla and Garrus, all these other people. There was the G-Force team, which had all the mechs, like Mogera, Mechagodzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, all that other Jet Jaguar, and then you also had bio monsters. You also had alien monsters. So you have factions, and that was the beauty of the Godzilla franchise. So you had multiple factions with multiple monsters and different stories behind each one of them. So if they want to just build it and keep building it and then wrap it up at some point in the next few decades, go right ahead. I will be in every single one of those fucking seats, buying every one of those fucking tickets, because I absolutely love this franchise.
Yeah, it's fun, man. So there's a lot to discuss. There will be a lot to discuss. I'm looking forward to it. Shit.
Man, I can breathe. Choked on the anticipation.
I am, but I'm excited for the anticipation. And once we get an actual trailer drop, there hasn't since the announcement. There really hasn't been a whole lot to talk about until this leak about a month ago. And
I know, and that's why I haven't really shared much either, because there isn't much to share.
I feel the conversation starting to ramp up, though, and I think people want more, and that's the beauty of what they're doing, man. Is people do want more of the legendary Monsterverse stuff. So I think with Monarch, I think with the Godzilla and Kong stuff going so well, I think they have a real opportunity to do something cool here with Mechagodzilla, or not with Mechagodzilla, with SpaceGodzilla. Too many versions of Godzilla. So, listen, let us know in the comments. What do you think of SpaceGodzilla? What do you want the design to look like? What do you think of the character being included? Do you think Kong is going to actually be able to help here, or are we just going to have to see G save him every step of the way and have the most unbelievable plot armor? Is Kong going to have the most unbelievable plot armor that anyone has ever seen in their life?
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below. You can follow us on Instagram at LTM Podcast KY. Go ahead, join the Facebook group as it's appearing on your screen if you have not already. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave this one a like and subscribe to the channel. That's the number one way that you can help us out. We will talk to you later. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.